Welcome to the Thunder. I am Shooter, and I'm here with the Stash and Thomas Schooley. Live from Amalie Arena, where the people seem confused because some back-to-back champion hockey played tonight, and both lose. The Carolina Hurricanes, hottest team in hockey, 2-1 in OT. Schooley, I want to hear from you first on what was the arena game and what was military appreciation night. Shout out to all our military members.
They did a real good job representing the military all throughout the night. They did the Marine MEPs sworn in during the first intermission. They had during the second intermission the repel team come down off the ceiling. They presented the award to Sonia Bryson, very deserving award for her. All throughout the night, they honored different military. So it was nice, but it was quiet in there. It was a kind of boring game, so but it was pretty quiet in there for it being military appreciation night and looking pretty full in there.
Yeah, it wasn't that exciting of a game. Low scoring game, obviously. Stash, watching from the home base, what'd you see?
I saw a team that was really kind of outplayed a lot, and not even kind of. They were outplayed a lot early on. I mean, they were completely outclassed in the face-off circle. That can't be overstated how bad they were. And then, I mean, they started harping on it really on the broadcast, and deservedly so, because they were just terrible there. Giving up 31 shots on goal, and they still have 18 blocks. So, I mean, how many opportunities are you going to give them to start putting the puck towards your own goal and get lucky that you made it to 1-1 overtime? You know, Vasi's getting hung out to dry here. People are talking about when he got off to start, but recently he's been playing his ass off, and these guys can't convert on these offensive opportunities that they're getting, whether it be the power play. I mean, sure, we can cry about the referees, and I agree with Steven Stamkos. That interference call on him was completely bogus. You feel bad for the captain sitting in the box whenever they score the equalizer, but let's be honest, 4 power plays, no opportunity, or no, 2 shots on goal, I think, for the entire out of all 4 of those power play opportunities. They couldn't get inside the zone except for the one time they won a face-off to start the penalty. Other than that, they couldn't get anything established in their own zone. So, there's a lot you could cry about, but when it comes down to it, this team has to figure out how to start executing on the power play, and that's all there is to it, period. That power play is atrocious, and it has to start there. That has
Nobody
to get
wants
better
to
before
shoot.
everything else did. I mean, there's all kinds of things. It's not even just that they don't want to shoot. I mean, it's talking about where they're shooting. And Ingblom was on it tonight too. How often was he talking about they get deflected, or as soon as they go to make that pass, the stick is already there from the defensive player. It's not just when they shoot, they're a step behind. They were getting beat to all the pucks when they were trying to enter the zone. They were lazy. They're expecting the puck to get there so then they could think about it and make a play. And Carolina wasn't letting them do that, and they didn't adjust whatsoever throughout the game.
You can't depend on Stammer every single time. Everybody, they do the little fake like they're going to do it over on Kuch's side, but everybody knows Kuch isn't there. So they know that shot's not going to come sneaking in there from a Kucherov. So they don't even guard that, but he gives it up every single time. Whoever's over there on that side never shoots it. They just give it back to Hedman or shoot it back across the Stammer, and the goalie's always already waiting for Stammer because they know it isn't going to come from that right side there.
Yeah, it's not coming from anywhere on that power play. So like Stash said, we were talking right before we came on. Doesn't matter. We're not getting the calls going our way. It doesn't matter right now. This team's got to be in the bottom 10 for power plays right now. They've got to figure this shit out. You can't just lose Kucherov. Okay, one of the best players in the world, right? But you've got to be able to insert somebody there. And you know who they had in there a lot tonight? ABB. He's not the guy. He's not the guy. Let's figure out something else. Like, I don't care what it is.
I mean, if you're not going to really have that second power play on the ice that much anyways, why is Sorelli there? Just keep him on that top power play in place of Kucherov. And then, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I understand you got to have someone on that second power play, but you got to figure something out. And yeah.
ABB won't be there once Kachuk comes back. Kachuk comes back. ABB won't be back in the lineup. He'll be out.
Well, but it depends on
all right.
Yeah, I mean, I thought. I mean, I would say if we want to talk about some bright spots, I thought that the lines overall looked pretty good tonight. I think that Carolina was the much more aggressive team. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. They were way better on the forecheck. They were better in the neutral zone, on the transition situation. They really out-hustled the Lightning and outplayed the Lightning in all those situations.
Stammer did come out and talk about the power play. He said, It's frustrating coming up empty on the power play in a game like tonight. These are games we usually win because of our power play in the past. Said they're leaving points out there because of power play's ineffectiveness.
Yeah. So, but what I do think that what we saw from the line pairings tonight, I thought I saw a lot more chemistry overall. They talked about Colton being on that line with Maroon and Perry, and then they moved him to the line with Radish and ABB, and I thought that was a lot better a pairing with Bellemare on that line with Maroon and Perry. They came out, had a real jump early on. Their first couple of shifts were really, really good. Throughout the game, they were probably the most consistent line of playing their game and their kind of hockey. So, that was really a positive thing. And yeah, I mean, you can't rely on Stamkos, but man, the guy is playing his ass off right now too. So that's great to see him. And Killer, personally, the fan I am of who my guys are on this team, and to see those two guys leading the way in goals right now makes me kind of happy. It makes me sad that there's nobody else really close to them, and no one else is really keeping up. Braden Point's kind of getting back on a little bit of a roll, but there's some positives to look at here. But really, it's disappointing to see this team lose this way, and to have a burst there, especially in the last 10 minutes or so, or for a while. That there was some good hockey there in the second period and the third period when they weren't on the PK or killing off a 5-on-3. There were good things to see, but yeah, I mean, they're still, like I said, they're lazy on that power play, and I think that's kind of going to the rest of the team. It's like it's kind of carrying over to the rest of their play. They're not as sharp. They're not making set plays. They're not like, oh, okay. They pointed out multiple set plays tonight, right, from Carolina and on the broadcast. The Lightning are out there just winging it. They're just kind of winging it, hoping a guy's going to be here when they make a pass, or hoping that they're going to be there whenever they get the pass. And, you just got called out for a wrong ticker, too. Oh. We do have technical difficulties ourselves on this show. All right.
I thought the player of the game was Matty Joe. Besides Vasi, I thought Vasi was obviously number one star. But I think Matty Joe, I think he's been consistent all year, and I really think he has stepped up. I know at one point they were saying his face-off percentage was he won all of them. He was 100% on his face-off percentage. And then he's just been moving. He's just moving it up and down the ice, and then he got that assist on the one goal we had.
Yeah, so let's I've got the breakdown of tonight's game. We also want to go back to our Canada trip. We got 3 out of 4 points in Canada. Although tonight's game did remind me of Toronto, except we kind of dominated Toronto. I'd say Carolina dominated us a little bit more tonight. So we'll go back to that. Do us a favor, go hit that like button or that share button. Even if you just hit that like button, helps us out tremendously wherever you're watching from. And yeah, make sure you follow us on Twitter, because I think we should be live on Twitter right now. So at We the Thunder Pod on Twitter. But yeah, you had Military Appreciation Night. We mentioned that already. Carolina 9-1. So it's not like we're playing against a last place team here. We're playing against the Beast of the East currently, which is kind of funny because we looked at like some of their offseason moves, like changing goaltenders, which turns out to be a really good move for them.
We picked them all the way down at the bottom when we did our early season picks. All of us thought they were going to be non-existent.
Yeah, what do we know? Best team in the NHL right now, and they did just come off a loss recently to it was the Panthers, right? That they lost to.
Yeah,
and that affected them. I think that was their last game, so they got worked on the power play in that game. I think they gave up 3 first period power play goals. I watched Carolina's feed. Sometimes I'll watch the other team's feed. Oh my God, it is awful. We should all, everyone that watches Bolts games on Bally, we should all, next time we have Dave Randorf off, we need to kiss his ass. We need to get Brian Engblom on here, because these guys that call Carolina, I could not stand them. Yeah. Anyway, get more into that. So first period, I don't know if you noticed this stuff, Schooley, at the game, but like the Hurricanes were blocking everything in the beginning of that game, and I guess throughout the game as well. Shots, passes, like the Bolts just couldn't get anything going. And that first period went by so quick. There were like barely any whistles in that first 10 minutes. There was like 2 whistles. You finally had Carolina get a penalty drawn by Point. I thought Point kind of disappeared towards the third period, but I thought he was like flying around tonight. He looked good to me on TV, but didn't really result in, I don't think he got a point this game. Yeah, we only had 1 goal.
Yeah.
Again, that first power play looked awful. Absolutely awful. And then we get back-to-back penalties. The Perry holding the stick, stupid penalty. By the way, a lot of stupid penalties we had tonight. Like unnecessary penalties, Ruda with the hooking. They didn't even show the replay of that one, so I couldn't even see if that was an actual penalty.
They showed in the arena. It was ever so slightly a hooking. Definitely, it was a petty call.
Yeah, both penalty kills looked pretty good. You saw Carolina's kind of get better as they went throughout the night, obviously scoring on the last one. And, you know, one of the big things we haven't mentioned yet that happened on one of those power plays for Carolina is Eric Chernak left the game with an injury and didn't come back. Perfect timing for something like that to happen.
Yeah.
So, you know, we'll see what happens with Chernak, and hopefully he'll be back as soon as possible, because he's probably been our best defender all season. You know, not to discredit Hetty or anything, but pretty consistent from Chernak.
Don't forget, we did start tonight's game without Sergei. He's the second game of his 2-game suspension, so he will be back Saturday versus Florida.
Yeah, no Sergachev. I think Jesse mentioned that in the chat.
And then Bogo, I see here, Matthew, about Bogo. I think it's 2 more games that they're expecting him back. They said, I think, 3 games.
Yep. Had another power play in that first period. Couldn't do much. I saw Ross Colton get tripped as well while we were on the power play. No call there. Pretty blatant trip.
Yep.
Should have been a 5-on-3. The arena went crazy.
Yeah, that's right. I did hear you guys. We got outshot 12-3 in that first period, but we made it out 0-0. So not a great start. Second period, no Chernak. Bolts have 20 seconds left on that power play. Stamkos hits a post. What could have been? Power play expires. Palat had a golden opportunity. I guess you got to credit Anderson. I don't know if you guys remember this towards the beginning of the second period. Palat should have buried that one. These guys have to finish these goals. Like, that's the difference between this year and the last 2 years from what I see. These guys are not putting in the net. That's a golden opportunity to score. You got Anderson basically on his back, reaching over. Palat's got half a net to shoot at. Put that thing in the roof.
Yeah,
put it in the net.
You gotta try and roof it for sure. We gotta try and roof that for sure. For sure.
And then this was one of the craziest sequences that we'll see all year. Our boy Rutu, we know his real name. We call him Rutu.
Rutu.
We do too. Delay a game over the glass. No class with that. You can't do that, Rutu. You can't make those mistakes. And then Belmare also with the cross check. 20 seconds later.
Yeah.
I know this is like the new rule, but you can't do that either. You got to know better.
Yeah.
You can't be cross-checking people these days because they might call it, and they have been calling it. So we're on a 5-on-3 for about 1:35 seconds.
Right.
And then the craziest sequence of all time goes down where McDonough blocks a shot, goes down, struggles to get back up. Vassie's blade gets knocked out with a puck. He can't move. So I've had this happen to me. By the way, only person on the podcast here who's played hockey. And I've had this happen to you. You cannot move. When that happens, you can't move at all. That's why he just went down. And he was just trying to be as big as he could and just block anything he could because he can't push off in any direction. That's the worst case scenario. We're basically down to a 5-on-2 with half a goalie. He can only cover half the net. Somehow we get out of that. Carolina just wasn't shooting because I guess they didn't want the puck. They didn't want the puck to get froze so they could, because as soon as that happens, Vassie's allowed to go fix his skate.
They kept passing it. The crowd starts booing, and then it ends up going to the side, and McDonough is able to pinch the guy, grabs it, and then pushes it right to Vassie for Vassie to freeze. And then Vassie holds McDonough's shoulder, and he takes him over to the bench. The arena was booing all the passes from Carolina because they weren't shooting it. And then
they should have been cheering that.
The bench was going crazy. The guys on the bench were hitting their sticks against the board, letting everybody know that Vassie didn't have his blade. So it was going crazy.
But apparently they don't have to stop play for that.
Not if it's down at that end, no.
Which is nuts because that is a huge advantage to have, especially a goalie, right? If it's another player, you can just have someone push them, right? But a goalie, I've never seen it. You see it a couple times a year with skaters, and I've had it happen to me, and it's weird because you start to push off, and at first you don't know what happens. So you push off, and you're just like, what's happening? I can't move. So Bolts survive a 5-on-3, and like you see in almost any scenario where a team survives a 5-on-3, huge momentum shift. Bolts, all of a sudden, pep in their step. They're getting shots on. Minutes later, Matty Joe makes this amazing play where he circles around, finds Stamkos. Hey, you can't leave Steven Stamkos open like that. Give me a break. On that play, by the way, I was watching Carolina, so they made sure to show this 50 fucking times. That was a penalty. Alex Killorn threw a pick. That's why Matty Joe was able to curl around free. Should have been a penalty. The bad calls were all the way around. And like we said earlier, who cares? Because we got in a power play. We don't know what to fucking do anymore. And then, we score. Stammer scores. We're up 1-0. Carolina gets another penalty. Cirelli gets slashed. We get another power play. Again, we can't do anything with it. I'm not going to say that anymore, by the way. I think you guys get the point. Cirelli gets a breakaway. This is where I started to lose my mind because Cirelli gets a breakaway at the end of the second period. He's hooked. He's cross-checked. He kind of gets a shot off. No penalty. He was both hooked and cross-checked. No call. And then Joseph, minutes later, gets hooked on kind of like one of these kind of tap-in plays that they're trying to make. At home, they go to commercial. We think, all right, we're getting a power play here. They come back and show, Joseph and the other guy gets into it. And in typical Lightning fashion, we always get both of our guys off.
It was Cirelli that got hooked, was it? Not Joseph?
No, Joseph.
No.
Well, Sorelli, the play before, gets hooked and cross-checked on a
but nothing
breakaway.
got called.
Joseph gets a play where he gets hooked. There was kind of a bang, bang,
that's when they call.
They called it.
play. And they did call that. And the replay I saw was the Carolina player approaching Joseph and putting him in a headlock.
Well, and that was kind of in response to that hit against McDonough, hit on McDonough back in the Lightning zone. And I mean, yeah, it was a big hit, but I mean, it was a legal hit. So you're going to go back in there and get into a scuffle, regardless of whatever. I mean, that's after that. And for nothing, and it costs us a power play, regardless of who engages or not. Like that's you're seeing, I think, a little bit of youth on this team this year that we haven't seen in the last couple of seasons from these younger guys that are still trying to figure out. Sergachev with the poorly advised hit, whether it's a penalty or a suspendable or not, whatever. He made the play, which he shouldn't have made the play. So, now Matty Joe comes back and costs a power play. Things like that. I'm starting to see or still seeing on this team where we don't usually see those kind of penalties. Dumb penalties, yes, but not those kind of emotional penalties.
Yeah. So third period, Vasi is on fire. It looks like he's going to take over this game. And this is where I start to think, because the Bolts did start to apply some pressure halfway through that period. This is where I was like, this is reminding me of that Toronto game just last week a lot. And I was starting to get scared, except, by the way, we dominated the Toronto game and we fucking choked it at the end. Yeah. This game, Carolina dominated us, and we, had a good chance to still win the game.
We stole a point.
Hit the post. I forget who that was, but we hit the post. Had some chances to score. Can't put it away. We can't put it away. That's the story of the season so far.
Stammer hit the post. Goals. It was Stammer that hit the post.
Yeah.
And then we get the penalty that they score on. Even Carolina's commentators said this. They didn't say this, but they said in their own variety, that's bullshit. Because Steven Stamkos gets pushed in to Frederick Anderson,
who's way at the top of the crease anyways. Yeah, he's way at the top of the crease.
Even Carolina's announcers said that is bullshit. Of course, Carolina ties the game with that power play goal. Great play.
Yeah.
Vasi can't do everything on this team.
Right. Yeah.
So we get another power play, by the way, towards the end of the game. Guess what happens? No goals.
Nothing. Did we even get a shot? Did we even get a shot on goal?
No, we didn't get a shot on that last.
I think we did on that last power play.
We go to overtime, 5th overtime of the year in 13 games, something like that.
Yeah.
Sorelli gets a shot off, by the way, before Carolina's first goal of overtime. Sorelli gets a shot off. He gets tripped. This is when I switched over. I couldn't stand Carolina's BS anymore. So I switch over. Even Inglam's like, that's a penalty. That should have been a penalty. Of course, Brady Shaw just brings it right down the opposite side of the ice, scores a goal. Half you guys in the arena left, and it was called offsides.
Yeah, by a mile too, by the way. I don't even know how they missed that in the game. Like, I can understand if it's like half a skate or the toe was up and then it's no. Like, he was off by like a full stride.
And of course, we don't get that one because in overtime, it makes it a 4-on-3. And when you have 3 players defending, maybe we can score.
Yeah.
But we don't get a chance. We did have Hedman, who this team loves to turn down opportunities in front of the goalie and take the worst angle shots we can. It's always, it's Stamkos can do it. He's the only one that can do it, but everyone else wants to do it. Hedman has a clean look, fakes the shot, takes a shitty backhand shot that hits the side of the net.
Yeah. Turnover. And what happens? What happens?
Well, then it's not over. It's all us until they score the game-winning goal. Sorelli alone, right in front of the net, tries to fake him out, tries to backhand it over his glove, and misses the net. Nekis comes back and scores a game-winning OT goal. That guy's a bolt killer. He really, really have bad luck against him. He's a good player. Bolts lose 2-1, and I still have the wrong thing on here. I have shootout in overtime. I was not in a state of mind to do the stats after that game because I was not very happy with the team's performance. You can blame the refs all you want, but this was not a good game for the Bolts.
Update on Chernak. He is not day to day. He is week to week.
Great.
Cool. Anyway, we've got Kimberly here. Let's let her on. She's I think I can't tell what her name says here. I saw Connor.
The Whisperer, it says.
The Whisperer. I saw Connor. Connor, call back in. We'll put the link up there if anyone else wants to call in. We're going to talk about the other 2 games in Canada, and then we're going to talk about the road ahead for the next week, and then we're going to get the heck out of here. So I'm not very happy. Kimberly, the Whisperer, what the hell happened?
Well, we didn't bury our chances like you guys said. I don't have much voice left, so I was busy yelling.
All that whispering?
Yeah. But
She sits in front of me.
So, where I guess you said it, right? I was going to ask where we went wrong, but we just couldn't finish.
two games, though. That's 2 in the last 3 games that they've made a bullshit call on Stamkos.
I'll agree with that. That was a bad call. And timely goal by Carolina to tie it up halfway through the third period.
Action. Can you all hear me?
Yeah.
Now we can.
I just pulled in at home, so I was hauling butt to make it home so I could call in.
I know, Kim, how's your feelings on Ruda or Rutu?
Well, I try and be fair, but at this point, I would rather see Schuster in the lineup. I actually think that Schuster has played better in this stint, much better than he did when he was with us the last time. So
well, you're gonna
I'm
see
looking forward to having Sergachev back and hopefully Bogosian back. And I want to cry about Chernak because that's a huge loss.
So that's a good point. We haven't brought it up yet, but Bogo looks like he's skating now. So if Chernak is out, Bogo's going to have some big shoes to fill, and hopefully he is back on Saturday.
Well, fingers crossed. At least we get Sergachev back. So, but I would a million times rather see Schuster in the lineup than Ruda, and he had a bad game tonight. So. And I don't know if maybe it didn't translate, Shooty, but I didn't think that the guys didn't play that bad. Unfortunately, we just couldn't bury our chances. That one that Palat had was just, he looked up to the sky, as did the entire arena. So,
yeah.
But, yeah, you got to bury those chances. So, and sooner or later, Matty Joe will get to bury his too, but. Even though there was a slight pick by Kaloran on that play, I just think it was a brilliant play by Matty Joe, and he drew all the attention to him, and they forgot all about the captain. So,
don't you dare tell that color commentator for the Carolina Hurricanes that was a slight pick, because you would think this was the NBA Finals the way this guy was calling the game. But yeah, you're right. We've got some defenders coming back, playing against the best team in the East right now. So at least these guys know that they've got to get better, and they were right there. 18 shots in an overtime game where we had a few shots in overtime. That's not good enough. They're gonna have to play better. They're gonna have to beat the Hurricanes to three-peat probably. So.
Agreed.
We'll see what happens next time they play.
Kind of uncharacteristic of Vasi on the goal that got, of course, disallowed because it was offside. But then even on the winner, not like him to give up goals like that. So
yeah, you want him to save those, but he can't do it all. Like that OT winner, I guess both of them were pretty perfect shots.
They were good shots. Agreed. You got to give credit where credit's due. So. But
Yeah,
I
again,
didn't think it was that bad of a game, but at least they better practice hard for the next 4 days. So,
yeah.
because
I mean,
things don't let up in the next 2 games. So,
yeah, and remember, we had 3 solid scoring chances in overtime, 0 goals.
yeah, yep.
All
Like
right.
you said, we got to bury them. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, Kim, I'm going to let you go because we got Connor waiting to jump on. So I want to grab him to jump on. But yeah, thanks for being the Thunder, and thanks for calling in.
Anytime. Go Bulls.
All right, see ya. All right. Do we have Connor? I can't see him, but can I hear him? Connor, you there? Oh, I
Now we
see
can
you.
see him too.
He's got the man cave looking good there,
There it is.
but he
He's
Can you hear me?
froze.
seems. I can hear you.
He's like the Lightning power play, completely frozen.
Well, let's leave him there and see if he comes back to life. like
Appreciate
the
it.
Lightning power
Gotta
play
keep
this
up with
weekend.
you guys
Wait,
a little
no,
bit.
let's do absolutely nothing and see if anything changes here. I don't know.
Oh, he moved.
Yeah,
He got a smile on his face now.
Right now.
Try to reboot yourself, Connor.
Yeah, retry. I don't know what you're calling in on, but try to reconnect. If you're not on your Wi-Fi, try to connect there again. We'll try to get him on. If you guys want to join the show, let us know how you feel about tonight's game. I think you know how we feel.
So let's talk about now this 4-day break. I mean, I don't understand why we keep having these breaks, and then they're getting a whole bunch of games together. You have, and Stash, I can't hear you.
I got some feedback, so I was trying to do a different setting. But anyways, someone was commenting on social media about it's strange with an Olympic season how we have so many days off in between now, and I feel like shouldn't they be getting all these games in early instead of late? But you know how the NHL, they like to make a big deal about how much the Olympics impacts their season, so they can try and make it a big deal every time. But
Florida Panthers, who played last night, lost. Florida Panthers played back-to-back. They played again tonight, lost. They play again Thursday night against Pittsburgh, and then come here to Tampa. I mean, they literally are playing 4 games, and that will be our second game in that time frame for the Panthers.
Yeah, and that is what they're doing. You're gonna start to see this more of a cluster of games, so you can so they can get the Olympic thing squared away, because they're gonna have that. I guess it's a 2-week break for the Olympics where most of these guys are going to be there. So it is kind of weird. I feel like there should be a Tuesday, or not. It is Tuesday. I feel like there should be a Thursday night game this week.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
We get Saturday at home. We get the Panthers, probably the second hottest team in the East, although I haven't looked at the standings this week. And then we get the Islanders. We all know the history with the Islanders, so they're going to give us their best shot. So the bright side to tonight, as Steve and some of the folks in the chat have said, is we got a point. We played a really bad game. We got a point, though. So you can't go to sleep too upset tonight, but I wasn't too impressed with what I saw.
Yeah, they're still Florida's actually number 1 still in the league.
Yeah.
But that's only because of points.
Yeah.
And then Carolina's 2 with 1 point behind them, but 2 less games. That's what I'm saying. Florida, they're just killing with games. I mean, hopefully they're tired when they come to see us on Saturday, having these back-to-back games that they, for some reason, played Spencer Knight in both games, end up losing both of them, and then playing Pittsburgh, who we know how Pittsburgh can be, and then they come in here into town. Sergachev's return, I would think he's going to be a little antsy to get a hit in there.
No more hitting, Sergachev. Although the Panthers game, those tend to get physical. So that's going to be a fun game Saturday night. So Hopefully, you guys are louder than you were tonight. And again, you can't tell on TV. Schooley called you out. He was there, so you should just be blaming himself.
It was quiet.
And then we'll have Monday Night Hockey. I love Monday Night Hockey, and that again is in Tampa. It's at Amelie. So no post-game show next Tuesday night. We're gonna probably grab a guest to jump on with us. So we'll be back next Tuesday night. Do you guys want to talk about the Canada trip real quick before we go? If nobody else is going to call in, hopefully Spencer can call back in. But if nobody else is going to call in,
Connor, not Spencer.
Connor. Spencer, Steve. Sorry, Connor. Hopefully you can hear it. All right, yeah. Let's talk about the road trip. Go up to Canada. We get 3 out of 4. We mentioned that Toronto game a little bit because tonight kind of reminded me of it. My guy, Patty Maroon scores in that game. I say my guy because some of you might not know this, but Patty Maroon follows me on Instagram. Breaking news as of last night. And as I sent a screenshot to Thomas Schooley's like, why can't you type? Because my message back, well, it wasn't even to him. It was to the Letty dressing people. It made no sense. But
then your response was, they understood what I am at. And I'm like, I don't think they did.
I don't think so. I didn't. I don't think they did.
We are one step closer to getting Patrick Maroon on this show. We are one step closer.
Of course, my response is we got to get them on here as like an endorsement or a sponsor or something. Because if shooting their stash on the perfect guys to start repping that Letty dressing, I don't know who are. You know what I mean? Who are better than us to really start repping it?
Just so everybody knows what the actual
it's a lifestyle that we live.
Shooter said could totally have doing something with it.
Boom.
I'm like, English, please.
This is how he communicates with us on the side in our little message group that we have. This is the way Shooter communicates with us, and then he wonders why we don't know what the hell is going on most of the time. He blames us. I don't know. You figure it out, people.
I was like, what? Well, I don't know.
Back to the game. To Toronto. My guy, Patty Maroon, BFFs forever. There you go. He scores, and the Bolts lead the entire game until there's 1 minute left. And Tavares scores. Defensive breakdown.
On who? On who?
Hedman.
Defensive breakdown on who?
Clear it, and I don't think it was Hedman's man that scored. I think it was Sergachev that was out there, and I think it was Point that one of those guys should have had Tavares. You can't get a clean shot from right in front of the goal like that. But yeah, it was Hetty.
Hetty made a bad play. Terrible.
That has actually been a habit this year. I don't know. I know a lot of people are saying,
don't do it.
Is he still injured? Something's not usual Hetty. I mean, he's still leading an assist, but he's not shooting the puck. I don't know what it is. He's still scared of re-injuring himself or what? What is it?
And I tell you, he cut his freaking hair, man. Like these, I don't know what it is with these guys in the off season. They grow their power out all season, and then they go and they cut it. And like certain guys just need to let their flow go all season long. Hetty's one of those guys, man. He needs to let it go. He needs to be the long-haired freaking Flash out there. That's what we need. Just like Maroon. What I was talking about before. Maroon with no beard is no Maroon at all. Grows the beard out. The first game in the regular season, we've seen Patty with the beard. In Toronto, what happens? Boom. Biscuits in the basket. He scores. Comes out, and I know some people in the comments have said that they were non-existent in this game, but I thought Maroon and Perry and Bellemare had really good game. I thought that was one of the most consistent lines tonight. They're still struggling for Perry to finish chances, but they're still generating opportunities. They're doing their job and working below the point or the faceoff dots in the opposite zone. So,
and I think that might be what the problem is with that line is that they're actually trying to get
We
each other
need the
to
flow
score
back.
super hard. I think they're trying to get Bellemare that goal. I think they're trying to get Perry that goal. I think we actually need to kind of split them up and try to get them a goal on another thing, because I think that line is actually a very dangerous line once they start getting the goals. And I think they're trying too hard and they're in each other's head. We've seen it in years past with Gord, with Johnson, and you see them always throw that monkey off their back when they finally score that goal. And I think it's the same thing with those guys. And when you have them all on the same line, it's a little scary. So, but I think Bellemare is, I picked him as the one that we'd be surprised with at the end of the season. And I still think that. I think he's going to end up being an elite person for us, another Yanni 2.0. So
yeah, he's been great on the penalty kill. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, just to wrap up that Toronto game, Tavares scores less than a minute left. By the way, we're dominating this entire game. Up 1-0. We can't score. We get so many chances in the third period that we can't score. Maybe we deserve to lose this game. But it was OT where we lost again. It was Hedman takes a penalty, a hook,
a weak penalty,
behind him,
freaking weak sauce call. But again, I think he was playing a little bit lazy on that play too, and went back and made a lazy play with the stick, and he got called for it. It was not a very good game by Hedman, and anyone that said so on the social media has got freaking lambasted and taken to the cleaners. How dare you talk about Hetty? But he did not have a good game, and you could say the team. We were talking about it in the chat during that game, and you're kind of putting it on the guys that weren't scoring. And yeah, they got to finish, but at the same time, they still own that entire game. And Hedman had multiple early on. He had that penalty. He had that the mishandled the puck that led to the penalty, and then led to the Sergachev hit. Yeah. So that led to the 5-on-3. So I mean, he did not have a good game at all, and he hasn't been the same. So I mean, that whole game, that team dominated until Hedman made a couple of really big gaffes in that game, and even in overtime.
Yeah, and I almost wish that they let that guy go. Like, why hook him like that? Because he didn't have to, because Vasi stick checked and poked the puck away. So he never even really had to do that. And when I talked about it earlier, a 4-on-3 is a huge difference from a 5-on-4 penalty or a power play. Yep. And obviously, that's what got him in that Toronto game. Hey, let's try Connor again. Connor, can you hear us?
Are you there?
Hey guys, what's up?
Hey,
there we go.
I'm here now.
We've got Connor.
Hey.
I hear you. What were your thoughts on tonight's game? What happened?
There was a lot. I was watching it with my grandpa and stuff, and everything. So we were watching a little program that they did with the military and stuff. So that was really great. But my thoughts on it was pretty tough. I think there was some great players tonight. Definitely Vasilevsky was number one. Matty Joe really stepping up and everything like that. I think he doesn't really get a lot of credit and everything, but he did a nice job set up, for Stamkos getting that goal there. But we got to do a little bit better on the power play, I think.
A lot better.
Yeah. Power play struggling. I'll look up for next show to see where we're at. I guarantee we're in the bottom 10 in the league right now. Did we score a power play goal against Ottawa?
I don't think so. I don't. Yeah. No, I didn't really watch that game.
Oh, Hedman scored one.
Oh, okay.
Hedman bounced back and scored one against Ottawa. Which, by the way, Hedman after that Toronto game, he like owned up to it.
He came back like the storm of Swede for sure.
But yeah, that Sergachev hit. It's going to be a suspension all day. And we've talked about it on this show this season before that even happened about stupid penalties from Sergachev. Like, you can't go after the head like that. And I don't think it was maliciously trying to hit him, but your shoulder's right there. The dude's head's right there. You can't do that. It's like the belly cross check today. You can't do it anymore. And that's what's killing these teams with these untimely penalties. And the funniest thing is tonight it was a penalty that shouldn't have been a penalty that led to Carolina getting back into this game and eventually winning it.
But I would also say, if I could, third star, maybe potentially Nigel Kerwin, the video coach. I mean, give credit for him challenging the offside. And it was funny watching it because I was watching in the living room and it was like, oh man, that's the game. And then I was like, wait a minute, the refs are still there. What's going on? And they're like, oh yeah, they're challenging it for offsides. And watch the highlight and I'm like, yeah, it's definitely offsides. So good job on Nigel for that.
And the team had went already to the locker room, and so did Vassy. They had to call the team and Vassy back out to the ice for that.
It was funny. Dave Randorf was making fun of a few of the fans there, and they were like, "Oh, look, we got a few coming back and everything." Everybody was like trying to rush back to their seats like ants. So it's kind of funny.
The funniest comment though was when Engblom's like, "Yeah, some of those guys are getting a better seat because the guy in front of me is not here." That was, that was a great comment.
I heard that too. Yeah. Sitting on the glass.
Yeah, right.
Just to watch Hedman and Sorelli not bury those shots at the end.
Yeah, point.
And us to lose at the end. But hey, remember, we've had some shortened seasons the last 2 years. We got to remember one game at a time, 82-game season, and it does not matter. All they have to do is get into the playoffs. And I feel like the core players on this team know what it takes to win in the playoffs. And if we can, show up at the playoffs healthy, which we haven't exactly been so far this season, obviously missing Cooch has been really bad for us. Then it's a totally different ball game. But as long as we can keep our head above water in the playoff race, you can afford to lose a game like this, especially when you get a point. It's like, we've had 3 games since the last show. We've got points in all of them. Not the greatest losses. But hey, that Ottawa game really wasn't too bad. You had Elliott getting his first win as a Bolt. The 2 goals that Ottawa scored, actually they scored 3, but 2 were right off of really bad turnovers, which you hate to see. But that
one
game,
was an empty net. That wasn't a 6-on-5 empty net. They had the extra skater out there.
And we did have Palat come through in that game. He did score a goal. And to come away from that trip 3 out of 4 points is okay. But like we said, this stretch that's coming up, Panthers, Islanders, Flyers are playing really good. As Stash said earlier in the season, we're going to kind of get a good pulse on how good this team is by Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I think I said I think they're actually playing a little bit better. It's kind of crazy to say this because I think they're playing better than I expected them to play, really. And you're still seeing Cooper still messing around with these lines. He's still trying to find those lines that are going to gel. Part of that is injury a little bit, but really the forwards have been healthy. It's really the blue line that they've had, obviously, except for Cooch, but it's been the blue line that they've had to shuffle with but for the injuries. And so that does make a big difference when this team and how much of our offense in the last few seasons has come from that blue line. So I think that's making a little bit of a difference, but really I think we're seeing positive signs overall. We're seeing good growth from this team. And if you look at the standings, we're right there. Yeah. I mean, Carolina is, or Florida, I'm sorry. Florida is kind of running away with it right now, but we're right there with Toronto and Detroit. I don't think Detroit's going to hold up over the season.
No.
And Toronto, they're probably going to be there. But like you said, this is a full season again. We're back to 82 games.
Toronto just lost Peter Mrazek. He's on IR now.
Right.
So that could be something to them also.
And we already saw them, and we saw how this team matches up against them. And I feel fine about that. And I feel fine about them kind of struggling and having their issues too. So as long as, like we say, this team can get to November, December, kind of find an identity. If they can find an identity on the power play without Cooch, and then he comes back, game over, right? I mean, come on. Like if they can get their power play really humming, and then you add Kucherov back to that, I think that's pretty impressive. You figure out a whole new wrinkle to that offense and a way to score once you add him back. So there's things that they could work on and really learn in this stretch without him. And hopefully if they can get a team that really gels, then you just add Kucherov and he just kind of gets his way back into that lineup come Christmas / the new year.
Something we talked. Go ahead, Shooter.
I was just gonna say you slap a Cooch on that power play unit, you fix everything real quick.
Something we talked about, I think last show or something, we kind of touched on it, and they're still missing that blue line scoring. I was just looking real quick. Out of the 6 wins, 4 of the 6 we've had a defenseman score. It doesn't necessarily, they weren't the game winner. I mean, Schuster, it was already kind of a blowout, but they did put it out of reach. But I mean, 4 out of the 6 we've had a blue line score. We need to get back to that blue line scoring, but they're not shooting. They didn't get back. I mean, wasn't it Ruda the other day that had the rifle shot that went right into the net? Once they take them, they have those hard shots. If they take them, they can get them in.
Yeah. I mean, like I was saying, I think that's a big thing, especially with some of the injuries and trying to figure out your pairings back there. Maybe their focus is a little bit more on their fundamentals than they really are about getting involved on the offense, because I'm going to make sure they're not making those plays that cost them the game, But you're right, absolutely. The Lightning and when they're the best, the offense is coming from the blue line forward.
Mm-hmm. When they have that threat back there, it opens up more of and same with the power play. When they're a threat with that D-man, whether it's Sergachev or Hedman, that opens up more for Stammer, Cirelli, Point, Kucherov when he's back. We're down to 5 more weeks of no Kucherov?
The countdown is on.
6, 7.
5 more weeks till Christmas, right? 5 more weeks till Christmas.
We'll see.
I hope anybody that was at the game got their case of Mountain Dew Rise for any. Because
there you go.
For some reason, they were handed.
I wonder if Stammer Claus. hey, Shooter! I wonder if Stammer Claus might bring us a cooch for Christmas.
I think that should be good for you, Thomas, for your shift there.
Yeah,
keep you up.
Yeah, right.
Ain't nobody running from me this week.
Yeah, it's gonna be a Mountain Dew commercial. I usually don't catch criminals, but when I do, I drink Mountain Dew.
All right. Well, we're gonna wrap this thing up soon, Connor. Hey, thanks for calling in. Hey,
appreciate it.
You want to talk about?
Oh, not really. It was a good game. Could have played a little bit better, but I think they'll practice, this week and everything, and get ready for Florida. So I think we'll be good for Saturday, hopefully.
Right on. Well, hey man, call us back later this season, okay?
I definitely will, and I should have no technical problems further for that.
Good. And hopefully we will be celebrating a win, because I feel
we
like
all get them.
every post game we've done so far this season, we've lost. Is that accurate?
Yeah,
I think it is.
Every
I believe
game?
so. I've
always
lost all the games,
2 weeks from today, because there's no game next week. So we're gonna we'll still be live around 8-9 o'clock. But yeah, Connor, call back in, and hey, thanks for calling in this time, and go Bolts.
No problem. Go Bolts, guys.
All right.
No, we've had one win. That was the Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh game. Oh wait, was that the day we didn't do it?
It was when I wasn't here.
No, we did Wednesday that night. We didn't even do it. Hey, this is a pretty good question from YouTube. Did you guys see the McDavid goal against the Rangers?
He took them to school.
That was awesome. I thought it was awesome. That's my comment. That's my thought.
Everybody was posting, isn't that a cheat code? Literally.
It's probably one of the best goals I've ever seen, to be honest with you.
Step into the guy, but at the same time, yeah, like when do you hit him? When do you step into him? But he kind of gets mesmerized watching him. I kind of look like, but yeah, that's filthy. It was filthy. Come on, it's filthy.
You see guys try to do that, like not against like 4 guys, like he kind of did,
Right.
but you see guys try to take on like 3 guys sometimes and streak right up the middle, or even just like 2 defenders, and nobody barely ever does it, right? And if they do, we see the highlights, right? But that was a crazy goal. That was a great goal.
He's on my fantasy team, so
Good pick.
Good for me.
Yeah, that Oilers
team.
I like watching them. The other guy he plays with, Draisaitl, whatever his name is. Those 2 are awesome. The problem with the Oilers is they just have nothing else.
That's it.
No,
that's all they have.
That's it.
Yeah,
like that's it. One line, and you saw in the playoffs last year they couldn't do anything.
Yep.
So,
and I don't know if McDavid's that good without Draisaitl. I think they complement each other so
both
well.
Yeah, they're both really good players.
Because when McDavid was injured, Draisaitl was leading the team. So,
yeah, they're both just really good. That's what I say.
All right. I got nothing else for you guys.
For turning the guy sitting next. Thank you to Kim for turning on the guy sitting next to her.
Oh,
everybody do that. Everybody share it with her. She whispers in their ear. She says,
yeah.
If
everybody, and that's how we want you all to do it. If you can find a Bolts fan and just whisper in their ear, "We the Thunder podcast Tuesday nights." They will be sorely disappointed either in you doing that or in showing up here to watch. But I'll tell you what, I was really pissed off when we started this podcast. I'm feeling a lot better about it now. So thank you guys, because I was not very happy when we were about to when we came on.
Usually a loss, we do a 20-25 minute show. We're now hitting 58 minutes, so it's been an actual losing show.
Well, yeah, I liked some of the comments at the beginning. Like Steve was like, "That's all right, we got 1 point. Oh, we were missing Sergachev." I like the positivity. I had no positivity when we were about to start the show. So
you're absolutely right. You're like, I don't want to do it. I want to be here. You know, that's what I like about the show. There's a little bit of catharsis, a little bit of therapy involved, especially on the tough losses. You know what I mean? Tiffany mentioned that we need to get cards made and pass them out. And by the way, we're on that. It's just finalizing some artwork.
We're doing
and getting them ordered. But we are in the process of doing that, having a QR code, a few other things, just so you can
I can
get a few made, hand them out to people. We can hand them out to games and
I can sit them in the cup holders. Just saying.
Should we
just
like
put them in all the
get
urinals
Dew
and
to
on
give
the backs
them
of all the toilets?
Is that where a lot of people going for the Mountain Dews? If we hand out a
urinal
Mountain
cakes
Dew and a card,
we need to go urinal cakes. I love you, man. We're gonna go urinal cakes and all the bathrooms.
All right, so
there's Dave Ramsdorff walking by.
Call him over.
Right, did you just stop?
I talked to him.
If he knows that asshole in Carolina.
We get back on the show season soon.
I actually talked to him before the game today. And was talking about this. So
just turn on my phones. I'll just yell.
He's so
over your
short.
laptop.
Yeah, he's so short. Little news that I was told was that Stamkos is on the list for Team Canada, but that is not the final list. That should be out sometime the end of this month.
Yeah, I'm torn on that one. I hope he like lives out his dreams to win a gold medal or whatever, or finish in second place because he's Canadian. But I kind of want a very healthy, well-rested Stamkos towards the end of the season. I don't know.
I don't know if he plays. I don't know if he plays too much. I think this just might be an honorary thing, knowing it's his last time.
Let me be the water boy.
That Canada team is actually the projected team is kind of stacked.
Of course.
So he'll get some minutes, but he isn't going to get top line minutes on there.
We're already going to have a lot of players playing in the Olympics.
It's probably going to bump point off of out of the team.
Good.
Yeah.
He's got time.
On that bubble.
He's got time. He's
That's what I think too.
All right. So let's wrap this up. Remember, you've got the Panthers in town Saturday night. You've got the Islanders in town Monday night. So make sure you be the Thunder at those games. And we'll be back on Tuesday night. We don't have a guest yet, but we'll have a guest probably on Tuesday night. So stay tuned. 8 or 9 o'clock, we'll be back. And guys, anything else?
Go Bolts.
As of right now. Yeah, I mean, like I said, positives. We're still getting points. Long season. Look towards November, Thanksgiving. I mean, and yeah, we'll see you guys next week.
Florida's going to be tired coming in here, and so we got to take advantage of that.
You know what? I will say, I think I like this better. You talking off screen, so we can just sit there and look at Amelie and look at the plaza. That's a great shot right there. You got it. That's a great shot.
If you could actually set up like right in front of the statue and just talk from behind, I think that
and make it like
it's Phil talking.
Perfect.
Everybody, it's Phil.
We've got Phil on the show.
It's Daddy Phil. I am here.
Daddy Phil.
All right, I got to remind these guys to take
shoot
the
the freaking
headphones
puck
off because we're going to wrap this up and we play a very loud song or goal song at the end. We only heard it one time tonight. This has been We the Thunder. Don't forget to be the Thunder.
Be the Thunder.